We're talking about Tua and Mike McDaniel's comment that he hopes Tua's not going to throw 10 picks. I guess the gallows humor is coming out in Miami right now. What can you tell us is, in fact, happening for the Dolphins in that organization right now, Albert?
I think that there's a lot of reflection happening inside that building now. And I just don't know where the next answer is. And, if you want, I could take you through some of the history of this, but I think it really goes back to, a couple of years ago when they were winning, and they had a culture there that I think was a little permissive of the stars. And, where maybe there was one set of rules for guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey and a separate set of rules for other guys. And that works when you're winning. Then a couple of years ago, a couple of those guys clashed with Vic Fangio when Fangio came in as the DC. So they wind up moving on from Fangio after 23. And then last year, you're not winning anymore. And there are more questions, I think, internally on the leadership of the team. And so this year they come in, they try and really emphasize character in building the team for 2025. And now they're sitting there at 1-6. The quarterback isn't playing well. The area of the game where, Mike McDaniel's expertise is, and I don't think he's lost his ability to build an offense or call an offense or coach a quarterback, but that obviously isn't working at a very high level right now. And, I do think there are some people in the organization who before the end of the year might like to get a look at Anthony Weaver, as an interim coach. So there's just a lot of moving parts there right now. And, I think Mike McDaniel still got some rope to kind of climb his way out of this. But, certainly, there weren't great signs and what was a really, really dark, I think, afternoon for them in Cleveland.
My goodness, was it ever? Okay, so no changes on the horizon or because the trade deadline's coming up too. Trade deadline's a couple weeks away, Albert.
Yeah,
it's right there.
And I think that's an important piece of nuance here, because the hard thing about the trade deadline is, okay, so the teams that are going to be sellers are generally teams that are waving the white flag on the season. But if you are Chris Breer or you are Mike McDaniel, and your jobs might be on the line right now, are you willing to move on from players that can help you the rest of the year, maybe help you dig out of this? When the assets coming back aren't going to be things that, might be assets you won't get a chance to use because they could be 2026 draft picks. So, I think sometimes in these sorts of situations, it becomes what's best for the organization long-term versus what's best for the guys running the organization as it's currently constituted short-term. And, there are cases where you see owners make changes in season to kind of make sure that, the focus is on what's best for the organization from a long-term standpoint. So it's a weird position to be in. And I hate to be the one who's going to sit here and tell you, like, Stephen Ross does not want to fire Mike McDaniel, because it does feel like things are going that way. I don't think he wants to do this in season. Then again, there's that long-term piece of it. And there's also the fact that you do have, an assistant coach on hand who you might want to get a look at before the end of the season, in the head coach's seat.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, 12 to 3 Eastern.